Okay, so today, 3/21/19. So today we're going to learn the quadratic formula. So solving by the quadratic formula. Okay, now it's not a hard formula. Okay, it's just tedious. If you can add, subtract, multiply, divide, and take a square root, that's all you got to do. Now, so for me personally, factoring is always the easiest. Okay, now if you can't factor and solve, this might be your day. I remember a kid named Avi Stitt. You guys remember Avi? Remember Avi?
Yeah.
Avi just could not factor to save his life, right? But once I showed him the quadratic formula, he was like, sweet, I can do this. Because all it is add, subtract, multiply, just plug and chug. That's it, okay? So what is it, okay? So we want to solve for x, okay? It is going to be negative b plus or minus. Plus or minus because there's going to be two answers, right? Always two answers, plus or minus. Big square root, big square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a, okay? That's quadratic formula, okay? So what it does is this. It'll solve for x squareds. It'll solve for x squared every time, always, okay? If you don't know how to factor, it'll always do it. It's just plug and chug. For me, personally, factoring is faster. This is just plug and chug. So how does it work, okay? So you know that every quadratic y equals some ax squared plus bx plus c, that these are my numbers. These are my numbers, a, b, and c, okay? Now, down in example 1, a is 1, b is 3, and c is negative 5. You guys see that? A, b, c. A is the number in front of x squared. You don't use the x's, just the numbers. Just the numbers, not the x's. So a is 1. In this case, a is 1, b is 3, and c is negative 5. Okay? Now, this thing called the discriminant, that's your b squared minus 4ac. That's this part of the quadratic formula. And the reason they call it the discriminant, think about this. The word discriminant. We're going to discriminate. We're going to look at it and make some information. If this answer is negative, you have no answers. If this answer is 0, you only get one answer. If this answer is positive, you get two answers. That's all it says. So again, if this whole thing here is negative, you'd have a negative square root. No answer, right? If this equals 0, you just have one answer. And we'll show this. And if this turns out to be positive, you get two answers. So let's do the first example, okay? Here we go. Right off the bat. A is 1, B is 3, and C is negative 5. So here we go. We're going to go negative B. So I'm going to go negative 3. So putting 3 right there. 3 right there. Negative 3 plus or minus square root 3 squared minus 4, because that's the formula, times a, which is 1, times c, which is a negative 5, all over 2a, which is 2 times 1. Okay, one more time. I want everybody to see this. All I'm doing is putting these numbers, right? I'm putting, check it out. We're just plugging numbers in. That's all we're doing. Okay, there's my b, there's my a, my b, and my c. Got it? There's my a, my b, and c. So, my formula, negative b. If I put a 3, I want a negative 3. Okay, so my 3 goes there. Plus minus b squared. So I take and put my 3 right there. 3 squared, right? Minus 4, that's part of the formula. 4 is right there, it's in the formula. 4 and a is 1, so I put 1 right there. Times c, which is negative 5, so I put negative 5 right there, okay? All over 2 times a, and I put a 1 there, okay? That's all I'm doing is plugging the numbers in to the spot, okay? Thumbs up, does that make sense? So now it's just a matter of doing the math. It's this easy. Now it's just a matter of doing the math, okay? So the math is this. Negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 plus 20 over 2. Okay, you know where you got the positive 20 from? Negative 4 times 1 times negative 5, okay? So 3 squared is 9. And then negative 4 times 1 times negative 5.
So how would you do it on a calculator?
I'll show you in a second, okay? So, then I get negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 29 over 2. And that's my answer. Now, there are two answers. Now, if we needed to get a decimal answer to graph it, we'd have to. So that's a great answer. That's a perfect answer. There really are two answers. That wasn't too hard, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Too hard. Now, if we needed an answer that we could use, right? We would just find out. So, on the side, okay, we'd say, okay, well, what is the square root of 29? So I'm going to use my calculator, square root. So hold on, square root of 29. It's about 5.4. So on the little side, so if I need an answer, all right, if I need an answer, I found out what the square root of 29 was about approximately 5.4. Okay, approximately 5.4. I like this answer, though. You guys like that answer? I like that answer. But let's say we actually want to find out, like, for instance, the zeros, where it hits the ground, or something like that, some real thing. So I'd have to find out what this is. So I'd have negative 3 plus or minus 5.4, my bad, 5.4 over 2. So if I need an answer, a real answer, square root of 29, 5.4. See what I did? I just used my calculator. Square root of 29 is 5.4. Now, there are two answers. There really are. One answer is this. Negative 3 plus 5.4 divided by 2. And,
That'd be what, 2.4?
yeah, we'll do that in a sec. And a negative 3 minus a 5.4 over 2. My bad. Because of the plus or minus. So, here's what I got. I have negative 3 plus 5.4 over 2, and I got negative 3 minus 5.4 over 2. Okay, and then I'm just going to use my calculator to get my answers, right? So I'll do that. All right, so I'm going to go negative 3, and I'm going to go plus 5.4. I'm going to take that answer and divide it by 2. So one of my answers is 1.2, about 1.2, and the other answer would be, well, let's see, that's a negative 8.4, right? Negative 8.4 divided by 2. And the other is about a negative 4.2, okay? That's it. I like this answer. That's exact. It's easy. If I needed real answers that I could graph, I just used the calculator to get that. Now, my discriminant. My discriminant was this, was 29. My discriminant was 29. Because it's positive, we knew we'd have two answers, okay? Are you guys ready to turn the page? This isn't that hard, is it? Okay? So, example 2. Find the zeros of this parabola. Now, if it factors, factor it. If it factors, factor it. But this does not factor because it's a positive 10. Okay? Okay, so then, if it doesn't factor, let's use the quadratic formula. So A is negative 1. B is negative 3. And C is 10. Okay? You with me?
Yes.
So just here's my formula. I'm going to put it back up. Negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay? So if it doesn't factor, you can't figure it out, you can always use this formula. It's tedious, but it always works. Okay, so let's plug them in. So I'm going to go negative 3. I got double negative. See, because b is negative 3. Yep, you're ahead of me. I like that. Plus or minus. It's happy plus minus if I get two answers. Square root b squared negative 3 squared minus 4. 4 is part of the formula. Times negative 1 times 10 all over 2 times negative 1. Okay? All I did is this. Okay? Here's my negative 1. It goes in for A. Here's my negative 3. It goes in for B, right? And my 10 goes in for C. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah.
Would it be a positive on the outside just because it must be negative?
You're way ahead of me. I like that. Yep, totally right. I already said that. Yep, totally right. So, both Autumn and Isaac both agree that double negative makes positive, right? Okay, agree? So I got a 3 plus or minus the square root. Now, this is a negative 3 squared. Negative 3 times negative 3 is a positive 9, right? 9 plus 40 over negative 2. Okay, and you know where I got negative 4 times negative 1 is positive. 4 times 10 is 40, okay? So now I'm going to get, am I doing okay? So now I'm going to get 3 plus or minus the square root of 49 over negative 2. Now what this tells me is it would have factored. I knew it did, but I didn't want to tell you. But it would have factored, right? Because what's the square root of 49?
Seven.
So if I get a perfectly nice number, it
10
would have
over
factored.
negative
Does that make
2.
sense? It would have factored, but I didn't want to do it that way, okay? So then I got 3 plus or minus 7 over negative 2. And so I really got two. I got to have two answers. One is 3 plus 7 over negative 2 and 3 minus 7 over negative 2, right? I get 10 over negative 2, which is negative 5. There's one of my answers. Okay? And I've got a negative 4 over negative 2, which gives me a 2. There's my other answer. Slick, huh? Isn't that easy? Okay, so what I have for you